Hey, well, welcome everyone to I think it's a sixth session of the day. So we are joined with Todd Boss. He is the Canadian Radon Sales Manager for Fantech, and Fantech is one of our generous sponsors for today's event. Todd has been involved in the construction industry for the past 27 years, and during this time, he's taken on various roles in the home building industry, including radon mitigation. And in 2012, he received his CNRPP certification as well. I'll let it take him over so that he can introduce himself and talk about the work that Fantech has been doing.
Great, thank you, Lacey. Yes, but before I begin, Manitoba is located, and that's where I am, on Indigenous ancestral land, Treaty 1 territory, the Red River Valley. It's also the birthplace of the Métis. We acknowledge that the water in the Winnipeg area comes from Shoal Lake, and we are grateful to the First Nations who care for this water. I respect the treaties made in this land and acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and present, and I dedicate myself to authentic alliance with Indigenous communities in the spirit of reconciliation and cooperation. Thank you for joining me. So most folks already know that this radon thing, it's a dangerous, invisible gas, and it kills 3,200 Canadians a year. It's really something that can be avoided. Something that's happened, I think, in the last 20 or 30 years ago wasn't really a conversation piece. Radon certainly wasn't talked about, heck, even 10 years ago. But I think we're starting to make progress and communicate more. 35 years ago, you were allowed to smoke on an airplane. And as you know, smoking just doesn't pair well with radon. So today we're just going to do a little bit of time travel, look back, talk some policy, mitigation methods, and awareness, and some next steps, sort of where we're going to go. And this is just going to be a gentle conversation of really what I've seen through the last 10, 12 years as a previous mitigator. So my name is Todd Boss, and as Lacey mentioned, I've been in the construction industry for almost 30 years. I did receive my CNRPP in 2012. I've worked as a Canadian sales manager for the last 2 years with Fantech. This has further allowed me the opportunity to continue my journey in promoting the importance of indoor air quality. Fantech not only manufactures radon fans, we pretty much manufacture fans for every situation, from bathroom fans to HRVs, HEPA filters, to large rooftop units. Basically anything that moves air and makes air quality better, Fantech, a system air company, provides a solution. I currently also sit on the board of CARST and the Canadian General Standards Board. That's right, Rashini I too am a cat dad. Looking back, 10 years ago, Barack Obama announced he would run for president while Donald Trump was taking part in WrestleMania. The last Harry Potter book was published and Kanye West graduated. Also, 2010, the National Building Code came out with instructions directing contractors to install radon rough-in pipes, equally as exciting. These details included the size of the pipe, type of material should be used, where it should be placed, and that it should be capped and labeled. That's pretty much what we knew back then. Following suit of this code adoption, Health Canada wrote Reducing Radon Levels in Existing Homes, a Canadian Guide for Contractors. Now to some, this is known as the Radon Bible for mitigation standards. This was great for the industry. However, many provinces were slow to acknowledge and adopt this. Personally, I feel they were slow to adopt it because they simply just didn't understand this radon thing. So let's dive in. Most people didn't know what radon was or did, or what it could do. Certainly myself, I didn't know that this could be trapped in my home and could be killing me or my family. So at that time here in Manitoba, where I'm from, there were only 2 certified mitigators. So I opened a radon mitigation company and was going to be one of those mitigators. I figured because this was now in the building code, builders would just do the right thing, right? Maybe not. I'd also thought because this radon pipe was in the basement, that homeowners would demand that the right thing was done. Not so much either. So Back then, there's about 7,000 new build homes a year, and divide that by 2 certified radon mitigation companies. That works out to about 9 or 10 mitigations a day. I thought at that time I'd be looking to be on a Caribbean island in just a few short years. That was not the case. That year, we installed 6 mitigation systems. 4 were relatives, 1 was our own personal home, and none were new construction. I then realized this radon thing was still a little unknown and a little unheard of, and wasn't going to be as easy as I thought. Also, back 10 years ago, people said, don't quit your day job. This is only going to be a part-time thing. So nobody did. Most of the time, people, and still often, they own a plumbing company or an HVAC company, and they also do radon. Back then, also, the pipe was generally installed in the wrong location, labeled wrong, wrong materials, open-ended pipes. And when they were capped, stickered, and labeled, sometimes they would read, test here for radon, or radon lives here. So like every good organization, a board was born. So many people on this board are influential in this radon journey. Pam Workington met with Will Angel back in 2008 and started discussing the possibilities of what a Canadian chapter could look like, and officially established a Canadian chapter in 2011. So when you become certified measurement and radon mitigation, the courses and the training will provide you with the expertise and knowledge to help homeowners and building owners measure and reduce levels. Health Canada supports and acknowledges both of these bodies as ethical organizations supporting the construction industry. There's a few young people in that crowd. How far have we come? So anyone that recognizes that clock knows how far we've come. 10 years. So 10 years later, pretty much all provinces have now adapted the 2010 National Building Code, and currently are reviewing, maybe implementing passive codes in new construction. Tarion New Home Warranty acknowledges radon as a concern, going above and beyond basic building codes, requiring more than just the rough-in. I tip my hat off to these people for being industry leaders. A new home comes with 7 years coverage. A homeowner should a homeowner receive information from a certified measurement professional with results showing levels over 200 becquerel, the current Canadian guideline, the builder is responsible to mitigate. If the builder refuses, it's up to the warranty program to step into the shoes of the builder and have this corrected. This is huge for the industry. A builder really needs to think long and hard about whether or not they want to install these systems right off the bat or 7 years down the road. Can you imagine being a builder and having so many callbacks 7 years down the road when a house is already finished? You need to go back and install 20, 30, 100 mitigation systems. Yikes. So as we grow, the numbers of radon mitigators has increased. The requirements to renew these credits and follow ethical protocols, proper liability insurance is required, and the annual Karst conference has tripled in attendance since the beginning, which will be in Victoria, by the way, this year. So we'd love to see everyone out there. The demand for mitigation is on the rise, combined with the demand for testing. Continued education with mitigation professionals, being willing to also communicate and share information has also grown. As a mitigator, we've learned a lot of strategies and techniques that we share a little bit more, as opposed to keeping these so close to our chests. When we all started, maybe it's because we didn't know as much either. So please understand, I'm not endorsing one program over another. There's certainly a lot more initiative campaigns than there were 10 years ago. Also, unmasking the reality of lung cancer, even though lung cancer is the deadliest cancer by far, it only receives about 7% of all research funding. Lung cancer suffers from the stigma that only smokers get lung cancer, but the numbers show a different story. So one of my pet peeves really is when people are talking about awareness and they always say, what is Health Canada doing? What are the lung associations doing? Nobody's doing anything. That's why we're not busy. My phones aren't ringing because nobody's doing anything. So my question is, well, what are you doing, to create awareness? There's so many great advocates doing what they can to create this awareness. Health Canada mailed out 1.5 million postcards, I believe. Lung Association support these loan digital monitors to libraries. So similar to borrowing a library book, you can now borrow a radon tester. I myself am a founding member of Tackle Radon, where this idea started with a tweet to a CFL football player, and not really expecting to hear back, I did. And this collaboration could not have happened without the help of Lung Saskatchewan support. That was 4 years ago. Back then, it was sort of a Winnipeg versus Saskatchewan rivalry thing. Now it's a really big team that we have that is just competing to save lives. We have 7 famous CFL football player ambassadors and 2 lived lung cancer survivors who share their amazing stories of how they suffered and survived radon-induced lung cancer. Evict believes a low radon future for Canadians is possible with evidence-based decisions making and interventions made possible by cutting-edge research. The Evict Radon National Study is combined grassroots citizens, science, and professional cancer research to build the knowledge needed to reduce radon exposure and thereby prevent future lung cancer in Canada. Look forward to hearing from Dr. Godarzi today. The 100 Radon Test Kit Challenge is also awesome, targeting municipalities across Canada where radon testing has thus far been limited, but where there is potential for homes to have elevated radon levels. The program will provide up to 100 test kits to each participating municipality to be distributed to each citizen for free. Each community needs to have a liaison to take on this project and support. The City of Halifax, in collaboration with the Lung Association and the province of Nova Scotia, started the first Radon Library Lending Program in 2018. Since then, many more libraries in more than 5 provinces across Canada have launched radon monitor lending programs. Health Canada recognizes the need to provide all of these programs, have had overwhelming interest and appreciation from their patrons. So yes, Tackle Radon is a nonprofit campaign that collaborates with 4 provinces in Canada, and it has been amazing and it's growing. So what's next? Mitigations have come a long way, definitely in Canada. When I started doing these installs, the fan that we installed back then was basically the fan that was in the van. Now we have CNRPP professionals that are taught to install the right fans based on the correct fan curves and the ground diagnostics, which Fantech sells a tool for, by the way. We also sell, and that tool, is called the PFEDK, which is the Pressure Field Diagnostic Extension Kit, which is able to determine exactly what fan is necessary for mitigation, not oversizing or undersizing a fan. We also sell EC fans, which are electronically commutated. So you're able to dial up or down the right fan that is required for the job, not too big, not too small. So have we come far enough? I'm not too sure we have. I think we still have a lot of work to do, but with collaborations with these organizations and partners like you, I'm very impressed with the work that has been done. All of us on this call should also recognize and celebrate a little bit of our accomplishments, because we have come very far. As long as there is breath in our lungs, our story is still being written. That's Bart Millard. Myself, on the behalf of Fantech, appreciate this opportunity to connect with industry professionals like yourselves with the goal in mind to not be scared to discuss the radon or the elephant in the room or indoor air quality, which radon is a Class A carcinogen and claims 3,200 Canadian lives a year, 22,000 in the US. Far too many good people are dying from something there's a solution for. So please reach out if you have any questions or you wish to chat about any of our clean air solutions or our Radon product line.
Thank you so much for that, Todd. Really appreciate it. Any questions for Todd? No? Okay. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us for our 6th session of the day with Todd Boss, making the invisible visible. We're all going to go back to the lobby, and then we will be joining Deanna Sapier for her presentation. Oh, actually, I have a couple nice work, Todds. I have a love the PFEDK comment, and then for fans with regulators, do they consume less if turned down?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, everyone, I will see you shortly in our next session. All right, see you in a moment.